Hey, today we've got massive news about the Galactic War Map. The community manager confirmed one or more changes are coming relatively soon. We'll also discuss the Democracy Space Station, which fans have criticized and questioned its approval. Plus, much more I'll be covering. If you'd like to support the channel, please hit the like button below at any point and subscribe with notifications on. Alright, let's talk about the Democracy Space Station. I am absolutely not happy with it, and neither are the players over on the Helldivers 2 Discord or on Reddit. Now, I saw the comments in the previous video. There were a few that basically said you cannot judge it basically without experiencing it firsthand. Well, I have experienced it, and it's terrible. It randomly fires around the map, and it can kill you and your teammates. So whoever suggested this at Arrowhead Game Studios should not be recommending any more ideas, and I have no clue why they thought this was a good idea to implement it in the game. As you can see in this clip, this is truly an awful concept, and it doesn't even function properly. It just fires randomly. So if this is how the planetary bombardment works, I don't even want to know what the Eagles do. I really don't. Now, clearly you can see how much I hate it, so let's look at the proof here of what the player base thinks about it. We can see several topics discussing how bad it is, how it can ragdoll you around or randomly kill you. And there are countless topics just like this right now, along with comments on the official Helldivers Discord as well, talking about how bad it is. There's even a post here where someone questioned it. This player wrote, "Honestly, I would love to know who approved of this and how did it make it into production. We have been grinding this thing for 2 months, and AH couldn't do 2 minutes of testing to see how much of a bad idea random barrages are. Why is there no marker to let players know the areas to avoid? Why can't we control it? Why is there no logic built into not fire in the area of the players? We lost half of our reinforcements due to this crap before I just shut off the game mid-mission. DSS killed us more than any of the bots. Why would anyone want to play a game where you randomly die with no warning? How is this a fun gameplay experience? The bar was low when the DSS was only a JPEG, but man, now I'm wishing it still remained a UI image." Everything this person said is on point. I even questioned it myself when I was playing. I could only wonder who designed this or suggested it as an idea, and worse yet, who approved it. There's no way anyone at Arrowhead Game Studios thought this was an amazing feature to add. I get it, they're not a AAA studio or that their team is not large, but I don't think any of that can excuse what we've seen recently. They've done a great job with the buffed weapons. They've also done an insane job with the war bonds. However, I think this was a poor move, and they should have given us control of those stratagems instead of a ship that has passives and sends down random bombs. There's also another message in the chat by Twinbeard, and he basically said that they're discussing the DSS a lot at the moment. He wrote, "We're discussing the DSS a lot at the moment," or ATM he says. "As soon as there's any change or updated info, we'll communicate. Once I receive word about this, I'll be sure to update you guys on what exactly is happening, but you know what? I think everything about being frustrated and not happy with it is perfectly fine, and you know what? Things will get better, but honestly, this was just a terrible move." He also talked a bit about how there are various options being discussed. The response can be seen here, and he wrote, "Various options are being discussed, so to not say something prematurely that hasn't been decided. Better to simply say that as soon as we have something substantial to offer, we'll share it in HD2 announcements." What I think they should do is scrap the idea of random missiles being deployed and instead allow us to use powerful temporary DSS stratagems instead. That way it would be useful, it wouldn't be a random missile dropping on you. I think we all originally thought the DS was going to give us a special stratagem to use, but obviously it turned out to not be that way, and hopefully that's what they're discussing and soon going to implement into the game. So what do you think they should do? Should they give us a special DSS stratagem, or should they keep the same idea but this time show us where it's going to be marked? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. We do have a response about the content since a lot of players were asking about it. Apparently it's going to take time and it's moving slowly. This is what the community manager Twinbeer had to say in response to a player that asked. "My short and honest reply to that is that more content is coming, but it's moving slowly. And yes, more info and communication about this would have been a good thing. In other words, agreed. Personally, I don't like that things are moving slowly, and now it's probably going to move even slower considering the recent issues with the Democracy Space Station. They're most likely going to change a lot with it, and I suspect that's going to take time, even more time before they can give us new content to play. Anyhow, this didn't set well with one fan, who responded that these are just more excuses. Twinbeard wrote back and said, "As is I, so that makes sense. Seriously though, some things take time. It's easy to forget that we've made more progress in terms of positive sentiment for the game these past 5 months than we have since launch. A lot of things are improving, a lot of things are moving in the right direction. We'll hit snags, sick, here and there, but most arrows are pointing up at the moment. Yeah, I don't know how much time they're going to need. It's getting to a point where I think the player base wants to play something new, not just do the same missions over and over again, or fight the same enemies, whether that's bots or bugs, really. I know a lot of you are looking forward to the Illuminate, yet I suspect that's been pushed back even further if they continue to do this, right? It's just not going to be good for Helldivers 2. Now, as for communication, Twinbeard claims it's been lacking at times, although it will be better. Twinbeard wrote, "It's def considered, we know our communication and explanation have been lacking at times, and we're working hard on improving that. There's been improvements, more vlogs, more detailed patch notes, etc., but we're not there yet. Still have some ways to go." We have heard this before, and I'm trying not to be negative here, but I don't know how many times we're going to hear that it's being worked on, that it's going to happen, yet things are slow, or that we are getting better things, but they just take time. It's a bit exhausting seeing those type of responses without seeing the final result. Also, the Democracy Space Station is supposed to be in the skybox, just like the Super Destroyers are, except it's buggy and the developers are fully aware of it. I received a message from the support team about this, and they claim it's a known issue that's going to be resolved eventually. Yet there's no ETA on when it will happen. We can see here in this response what the support team member wrote. "Thank you for bringing this matter to our attention. This is a known issue that is being tracked by our quality assurance team and investigated by our coders. I cannot guarantee when it will be resolved, but rest assured that it is in our sights. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any further questions or feedback. Have a democratic day." Wow, so it looks like it was supposed to be in the sky, yet for whatever reason they didn't test to see if it was working properly. What's strange about all of this is that they supposedly tested their patches, so then how come they didn't test this one out? It seems like an easy one, right? You spawn down on a planet, you look up, and if the Democracy Space Station is there, then good. If it's not, then figure out why it's not. It's so strange that they couldn't go through the trouble of testing that out to see if there were any issues. But I guess it makes sense considering they didn't check if the planetary bombardment was going to be a problem. Speaking of testing, apparently Twinbeard confirmed there was testing. He also mentioned that they're going to tweak and evolve it as they go. Right here, he replied back to a member and wrote, "Hi, there was testing, and I don't believe the pressure was too steep either. Better to simply own up to the fact that the first incarnation of the DSS didn't pan out as well as we'd wanted to, and worked hard to rework and improve it. We'll learn from this and grow, I'm sure. There are a lot of discussions ongoing at the moment. This is not the end of the DSS. We'll tweak and evolve. Thanks for your input, Z, and have a nice weekend." That right there is interesting. There was another version of the Democracy Space Station that just didn't pan out too well, and they ended up reworking it. I wonder if that's why it took so long for it to be implemented in the game, because they had to figure out a way to rework it. And now it appears they're going to be doing the same exact thing again. What they need to do is give us public test servers. It would help out immensely with issues like this. We could all give our feedback on certain things, and it would work out really well for the developers. I'm not saying they should reveal storylines or huge features, but something like this would have been nice to test out and give them our feedback on how we feel about it. If you're wondering how large the team really is, apparently it's 150 employees. Now that could be developers, that could be QA testers, I'm assuming, but I believe he's talking about developers specifically. If we check out this post right here, this is what he had to say in response to a player. "Usually it helps to see community management like us, as in the studio. We're working on this together as colleagues in a company with almost 150 employees. Not everyone will have the same opinion on everything. It's even more constructive not to, but we're working towards a shared goal, so I don't see it as putting out other people's fires, but our fires. It's very much the same in how I don't perceive devs and players as us versus them. We're all gamers, some of us just happen to work with game development. Sure, it does make sense why it takes a while for them to develop certain things, because 150 employees is not a lot. Now it is, don't get me wrong, it's quite a lot of employees, but not as large as your typical, AAA studios, right? Also, there's apparently a bug with the DSS, actually 2 bugs specifically. If you have experienced a bug where it currently does not allow you to donate more, then don't worry, you're not the only one. As you can see here in this post, A player basically wrote that they are currently experiencing an issue with it. Not only that, there was a report about the cooldown being extended out longer than it's supposed to be. Maybe that will be resolved without an update, or maybe they'll have to drop one. And speaking of which, I'd like to see a max button added so we do not have to donate all of our, samples and whatnot. But who knows what they're going to do with the DSS, because a lot of people are not happy with it. Last but not least, I do want to mention one more thing about the Democracy Space Station. We have an update for the DSS, small one. Basically, they did it without an update. So after a few hours after my video went live, the developers updated the donation cap limit for the requisition slips. Previously, it was set at a maximum of 10,000. Now they've raised the cap to 50,000. And that to me at least makes much more sense. With that aside, we're now going to move along with the best news yet about the Galactic War Map changes. The community manager Twinbeard has just confirmed on the official Helldivers 2 Discord that the devs are going to be updating the game with new visuals and info for the Galactic War Map. So if we head over to the official Helldivers 2 Discord, we can see the proof here where Twinbeard posted this. Morning, don't want to spam this in all channels and am not sure it deserves an announcement, but I'll drop it here anyway. Hello everyone, here's an update on the questions I replied to yesterday about possible improvements to the Galactic War Map. I am happy to say that one or more changes to the map are coming relatively soon, and a couple more are being worked on. We can't disclose exactly what, but most things are related to visualization and information, what data is available to you as a player on the map, and how can we explain to players better how things work in Galactic War. To rid the galaxy from aliens and bots, you need to be able to know what's what, and we know this has been lacking. We've made some improvements to the map already, but more are on their way. As always, thanks for your patience, dedication, and feedback. You can see the next update is not only going to add just one change, it's possibly going to contain 2 changes, and there are a couple more that they're currently working on. Now, we've all been wanting an update like this in the past, mainly due to the fact that majors have been difficult at times. There have been points where we could have pulled off a gambit on certain plans to make things way easier for us, but not a lot of players are aware of how to do it. I won't go into too much detail in this video on Gambit since I've talked about it quite a lot before, but it's essentially an easier way to stop plants that are being attacked by bots or bugs. That's pretty much it, and it basically gives us a much smoother experience. Now, overall, I can't wait to see what the visuals will look like, and I wonder if they're planning on showing decay rates or regen rates, right? Or percentages and whatnot, similar to what we see on the Helldivers 2 companion app. So I want to know, are you excited for the Galactic War Map update? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Next up, I do want to bring up something from the previous video. I saw a lot of you were not happy that I voted for Mastia. The reason why I did this was to cut off the supply lines, as you can tell from this clip where the arrows are pointing. These supply lines indicate that the Automatons are sending their attacks to the planet right here. If we were to liberate Mastia, it would have totally ruined the Automatons' plans for supplying that planet with bots, making the liberation way much easier. I thought it was the right move, but it turns out not many players were aware of this, so I thought I'd explain it to you all if you were curious as to why I voted. Anyways, with everything out of the way, we're now going to go over the top 3 comments. If you guys would like to be featured at the end of the video, all you have to do is comment down below. If you get enough upvotes, I'll feature you. The first top comment is by JR Hall, UQ4GS. The caps are probably to limit potential hackers over donating. Look at the info from a while back. Hackers completed the donation almost instantly. This is probably AH's method of preventing such again. Yes, I do recall that, but at least they can do is increase the cap, right? Make it to 250 and then 500 for common samples and whatnot. The second comment is by one-eyed_. I'll wait until the tactical actions are actually activated. But if DS turns out to be literally nothing more than sometimes bombs drop and also progress goes 1% faster, I will be very disappointed. Yeah, you're gonna be disappointed. Last but not least, we have Agent Parsec. If I understand orbital blockade correctly, it stops attacks from originating planet, meaning that moving it to Mastia and doing a blockade there will prevent the attack on Galaver altogether, basically like an instant gambit. So this right here, I believe I explained that in the video, but I think some people have missed it or may have missed it. So yeah, completely, you're right. So with everything being said, hope you guys give this video a like, share it, make sure you share it with all your friends so they know what's going on. And I hope you guys are subscribing and with your notifications on. It means a lot to me, truly does, because you guys support the channel each and every single time. And I hope I see you guys in the next one. See ya.